right here is for the people.
Which will in future also be known as Judgment Day, or Судный день, as the Russian government declared it, because it's the day where the period of judgment begins. Today's step for the world is the biggest military attack, biggest military missile strike ever known to humanity, more than anything that the Americans have done anywhere around the world. The Russians held off from doing this as far as they could, since 2014, to be exact, February. Shit is hitting the fan in the Ukrainian capital, Kiev. The Russians are pounding the city with rockets and conventional cruise missiles. Troops are amassing on the Belarus-Ukrainian border. Forces are inbound from heavy units in Russia, heading southwest from Moscow to the central northern Ukrainian border. It looked like they're about to get ready for a major counter-offensive and force re-entry into Kiev. The Russians have nearly delegated command and maneuvering of multiple reserve and regular army forces to military advisors and security contractors from the Wagner group. Wagner is basically the equivalent of what Americans would have known as Blackwater. Wagner does the same stuff for the Russian FSB as XE and Constellis does for the CIA. Essentially, they are a private army of former military operators, analysts and specialists. It looks like the Russian commanders are maneuvering their heavy and established military forces into an offensive attack, Western Ukraine being the objective. They are delegating operations in the east and the southeast annexed contested regions to Wagner advisors and commander units. The reserve and newly formed units will be doing a lot of that heavy lifting in the close combat and conventional force engagements all along the eastern regions. Russia is about to send wave after wave after wave of fresh regular army and air units into the north and western side of Ukraine, and I would expect a massive naval and aerial bombardment of Odessa and coastal forces, followed by scores of Russian paratroopers and a shore landing in the south. China will now attack and secure both Hong Kong and Taiwan. What will happen in Ukraine going forward? The attacks on Russian pipelines and the Crimea Bridge were calculated and designed to invoke the strong response that Kiev is experiencing right now. I want to make it clear that we are all praying for the safety of civilians in this conflict, and we should all be sensitive to the economic disaster and life-altering crisis this experience has inflicted upon everyone in the region. What needs to happen is a diplomatic summit and agreement that Western forces, mainly anti-ballistic missile technologies, are not going to be deployed anywhere in Ukrainian or Polish or other near Russian territories, such as the Baltic states, specifically Estonia, Lithuania, Latvia, Finland. Another unsupervised annexation vote should be welcomed by the Russians and in all contested regions, so that the people can once again vote to rejoin or join the Russian Federation. Then the international community needs to respect that, and all Ukrainian forces and any other forces in the region need to stand down. If that does not happen, there will be a rapid and violent deterioration of global security. This will extend into the United States, Taiwan, North Africa, the Korean Peninsula, Western Europe, Central America, and India's Chinese and Pakistani borders. This honestly, not an exaggeration, the headwaters of World War III unfolding moment by moment.